What is up, everybody? My name is Frosty, and we're here to talk about a new character coming to Marvel Strike Force. We're going to talk about Echo. So, when a new character comes to Marvel Strike Force gives out kind of a little ditty about who they are, but they usually it leaves a lot to be desired, right? So, what I wanted to do, I'm an avid comic book reader, and other Marvel media intaker, and so I wanted to just kind of give a good background as to just like a good quick background as to who Echo is, who the people that maybe Echo may have synergy or something with, and we'll just have a nice little talk about different things that have happened in Echo's kind of life that may or may not affect her character in Marvel Strike Force. Number one, I want to throw this out there. If you haven't seen the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, there will be sort of spoilers for Hawkeye in this because a lot of the events that happen in Hawkeye mirror in the comic books. So I'll be mainly speaking to the comic books, but some of those things sound familiar, or ultimately, don't blame me for spoiling Hawkeye just because I said something happened in the comics. So anyway, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Hawkeye. We gotta watch yourself on this. So, we're gonna dive into Echo. So Echo, her name is Maya Lopez. That's who she goes by in Hawkeye. I guess we'll just keep talking about Hawkeye. Her first appearance was in Daredevil Volume 2, Number 9. So she's created by David Mack, who actually is he's a big Daredevil creator. I'll speak to her powers. Ooh. This is great music for this. Okay, so her powers. She does have powers. There's this weird disconnect between some people that play Marvel Strike Force and whether or not people have powers. I've actually listened to a few podcasts where people are like, oh, well, Daredevil's just a guy who's blind, right? It's definitely not a thing. So Echo actually has powers. So also what I'm speaking to here is Echo becomes Phoenix, right? Jean Grey's Phoenix. Echo becomes Phoenix, right? This is not the Echo we're getting. At least I don't believe so, right? We're looking at Echo and the Young Avengers, which we'll talk about in a second. But I'm speaking to Echo without the Phoenix Force, right? I will bring up the Phoenix Force a few times because that's sort of where Echo is now in the comics. But for the sake of Strike Force, I'm mainly looking at Echo before she gets the Phoenix Force. So her powers actually are photographic reflexes, right? So Echo can look at somebody, watch their movement, and mimic it exactly, which sounds like another Marvel Strike Force character that we all know and love, which is Taskmaster. So that's the same powers that Taskmaster has. So Maya and Taskmaster can watch videos of people fighting, mimic them exactly, and use that against them. So she does this. She gets tricked by Kingpin to go try to fight Daredevil. So she watches Daredevil fight Bullseye and Daredevil. And when she's fighting Daredevil, she uses both Daredevil's move and Bullseye's moves. Mookie 2010 rating my stream. Hello, Mookie. We're just kind of going into who Echo is. Thank you so much for the raid. That is awesome. Great. Yeah, so we're talking about Echo, pre-Phoenix Echo, and what we might see with her in in Marvel Strike Force. So she has photographic reflexes just like Taskmaster. There is a rumor about Echo that she is molded off of Taskmaster. This is not true. She's actually made, and this is, I kind of find this a little messed up. She's made as a puzzle piece for Daredevil, right? She's supposed to be like his other half. So he's blind, she's deaf. That's literally what their thought process was. Alias is Crazy Horse, Phoenix, and Ronin. Are y'all ready to have your minds blown? Yes, shout out to Mookie. Heck yeah, thank you so much for the raid. Minds blown. Echo was Ronin. And Echo was Ronin first. Canonically in the comic books, Echo was the first person to take on the Ronin attire. So for those of us with the frame of reference, Echo actually was the first Ronin. And in the comic books, Kingpin convinces... So this is going to sound familiar to some of you. Kingpin convinces Echo that Daredevil killed her father. Which is funny because Daredevil would have been a child at the time, but that's regardless. So Kingpin convinces Daredevil convinces Echo that Daredevil killed her father, which is why she attacks Daredevil in the first place. Which sounds extremely familiar, but actually she was Ronin. Currently she's Phoenix. Crazy Horse is actually her dad's alias, and she takes it on. So those are just some other names you may know Echo from. Once again, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we see Phoenix the Phoenix Echo creep into Marvel Strike Force, but it is totally possible. Okay, I clicked on the wrong screen. Affiliations, as you may notice, as to what I wrote, Echo has nothing to do with the Young Avengers, so that's just another one of those really interesting takes that Scopely decided to do, but she has affiliation with the New Avengers, the Daughters of Liberty, and the Hand. So New Avengers, sort of a recovery period. The Avengers always have a recovery period, and then everyone's kind of a member of the Avengers proper, so I didn't list it. So there's a recovery period where she joins the New Avengers, and she actually joins it as Ronin. The Daughters of Liberty is an affiliation of a team that is made up of essentially all the badass women from Marvel. The Hand. Okay, so this one's a little complicated, but I wanted to throw this in here because it's totally legitimate if it comes up, right? But she is killed, brought back to life, and brainwashed by the Hand for a short period of time. So for a very short period of time, she works for the Hand. So still counts. Background: she is Native American from the Cheyenne Nation, which you can kind of see donned in her costume quite a bit. A lot of influence there, and she is deaf from birth. There's nothing special about her deafness that makes her super. It is the photographic reflexes, right? So it's kind of like with Daredevil. Once again, they're puzzle pieces. Daredevil, he's blind, but he gets enhanced senses and that sonar type situation. That's his power. For her, she is deaf, but she also has photographic reflexes. Taskmaster is not deaf and has photographic reflexes. Also, she could read lips perfectly, right? So she will be seen in the comics actually just speaking to people, right? Even though, because in Hawkeye you see her mostly doing ASL, she's signing, but actually, so Echo can talk. The Hawkeye has taken some liberties with the character, and I think it's really cool. And we'll talk about that in a second. The handprint. So she's got a handprint on her face. Why? When her father died, he touched her face, leaving a handprint, so she dons it to symbolize his death. So it's legitimately her father's handprint that she wears. It's actually also reflected in what you see at the bottom there is there's a comic that has Echo's background, and that's where that's from. Also, we see this in her background in Hawkeye. I already said the spoiler alert. I can speak freely on it. All right. So, there's another fun picture of Echo. Relationships. So this is kind of I think this is a really helpful breakdown. So a lot of these characters are in Marvel Strike Force. So maybe we would see them. Maybe we can see some synergy, little base synergy with some of these people as far as Marvel Strike Force goes. Once again, they're putting her in Young Avengers, which currently will be containing, so it would be Echo, Squirrel Girl, America Chavez, and I'm having a moment. America Chavez. This is a person that's already in there. I'm having a hard moment. But anyway, so nobody she actually has any contact with. And Miss Marvel. Thank you. Thank you, Rolf. Then Miss Marvel. So nobody she actually has any relationship with. So they're throwing her in there. So it's sort of a Hail Mary to guess the next person. But these are some people that she actually has close relationships with. Crazy Horse, William Lincoln, that's her father. Kingpin is her adopted father. So for Kingpin, he kind of weaves into every hero at this level. So this is actually, by the way, this is Echo in the Ronin costume. She's got the helmet off. Kingpin's an adopted father, so and Kingpin is a very big driving force as far as Echo's story. So it wouldn't be surprising if there was something with Kingpin. I'm thinking about this sort of in a Punisher kind of way. So in Punisher, Marvel Strike Force, Punisher has he does not have team affiliation hookup, but he does have bonuses to protect Daredevil. So that is something maybe, and I know the kit's been released, but sometimes there's reworks and stuff. It's just kind of cool to think about. Daredevil, even romantic partner, her famously kind of dated for a while, was a whole thing because It's sort of like in the old, I think it was a 2005 Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, where he kind of dates Elektra. So that story is essentially what happens to Echo. Kingpin sends her to kill Matt Murdock. She falls in love with Matt Murdock, and then she finds out she's still trying to kill Daredevil. She finds out Daredevil is Matt Murdock, and then c'est la vie. That's what happens. And then Moon Knight, she actually worked with Moon Knight as like a partner for a long time. It's really hard to pin down. It seems like they may have had a romantic relationship, but it's kind of, Moon Knight's kind of weird, so it's really hard to tell. There's also a really funny, actually, I think I have a picture of this. So this is her and Daredevil. And then this is Echo speaking to Moon Knight, and Spider-Man telling Moon Knight to kiss her. I cannot confirm or deny whether or not they actually were romantically related, but it's possible. So I wanted to throw that out there. But she does have a long working relationship with Moon Knight, so having that synergy would make an awful lot of sense, right? So, notable events. So these are really big things that happened to Echo, right? This might not be all of the notable events, but they are notable. So she was killed by Elektra, right? So she was fighting the Hand while she was part of the New Avengers. She got stabbed by Elektra, or Elektra as a scroll, depending on where you're reading. So that's really important. So canonically, so after she realizes that Kingpin killed her dad in the comics, when she realizes that Kingpin killed her dad, she shoots Kingpin in the face, which temporarily blinds Kingpin, and he kind of shrugs it off because he's Kingpin. Cool. So that does not kill him. She became the Phoenix. So, if this is more recent comic history, and like I said, this is kind of where she's at now, and I'm only going to speak to her being the Phoenix just a little bit, because I don't think we're going to see that in Marvel Strike Force anytime soon, but it's possible. At least maybe a costume. Her costume is sick when she's Phoenix. I didn't put a picture in here of it, but it's really cool. But, so there's a tournament between a whole bunch of really big heroes that Echo should not be fighting, and Echo fights them, and it's a really bold move on Echo's part. But even though she loses, because, I mean, she's up against people like, exclamation point PokeCatch for the people playing PokeTwitch. She is, I'm trying to remember who all she's against, but she's up against the likes of like Wolverine, and I think Daredevil's a part of it. But some people with some pretty legit powers, and she really doesn't. It doesn't sound like. So by the way, she can kick Daredevil's ass, right? She actually beats him in the comics because of her Taskmaster ability, which is really cool. But anyway, so even though she loses in this tournament, the Phoenix Force chooses her, because the Phoenix Force, the arc is actually a little bit ridiculous, because the whole thing about the Phoenix Force is that it knows where it's going. It chooses the person who's most worthy. So that tournament was sort of just, it was put on by the Phoenix Force. It sort of was just this kind of an odd story choice they decided to throw at it. But anyway, so she loses, but the Phoenix Force decides to inhabit in her, and so far she doesn't have a whole bunch of content as the Phoenix, but she gets all of the Phoenix powers, which includes telepathy and flight and all sorts of, think about Jean Grey, and all of a sudden we've got photographic reflexes plus all of the Phoenix Force powers, various fires and things. So she becomes extremely powerful, which is where it's at right now in the comics. Heroes Reborn was last year as a run, and it ended with, she kind of ended that situation, but read that for yourself. Cool. And then MCU and her legs. So I did want to say this. So, when I saw her portrayal in Hawkeye, I was wondering where the prosthetic leg came from, and it turns out the actress that plays, and I should have included her name in here, but the actress who plays Echo has a prosthetic leg, and the MCU decided to roll with that because what they want to push forward with Echo, and this is fantastic, what they want to put forward with Echo is that her disabilities are actually her strengths. They're not disabilities at all. So the fact that the actress has a prosthetic leg, they decided to lean into it instead of try to hide it. So Echo in the comics does not have a prosthetic leg. She is deaf, but the people of the MCU, people that did Hawkeye, decided that they wanted to roll with that, and that it adds to the character, and I totally agree with them. I think that's a really cool move. Cool. So next, one thing that I want to do for each of these is talk about power level, right? So I kind of referenced it earlier when she's Phoenix, and I'm going to talk about her power level with Phoenix. I made a scale for power levels. Oh, wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, right? Isn't that cool? I made a scale that a lot of you could probably relate to as far as where this character's comic power kind of falls, right? So on this, in Marvel Strike Force, it doesn't matter, right? Your minions can easily destroy your godlike characters depending on how they're built or used. We've seen recently Ravagers just absolutely wreck Black Order, right? And that's not in the comic book. That's not going to happen in the comics. But so what we're going to do is just have a little reference, just frame of reference of what my categories for power scaling are. I hit the wrong button again. Power level. So we have multiversal, we have universal, cosmic, nuclear, city, and Greg. So starting at the top going down, multiversal means this person is a threat to everything. Every universe, every dimension, that person is absolutely ready to wreck. There are people in Marvel that exist at this level. They're not as relevant as you think. So just also to clarify, just because they can travel between universes does not make them a multiversal threat, because they have to go to each universe to destroy it. Cool. So universal is somebody who can take down a universe. So that is that person that can travel between different universes. They're strong enough to take out that entire block, right? And now we're going to exponentially scale down. You're welcome. So cosmic. These are the people that are cosmic awareness and higher. So this will be somebody like Galactus. This is somebody like Silver Surfer. These are people that are a threat on a cosmic level. They're a threat to galaxies. They can take out quite a bit, essentially planets at a time. Nuclear is how it sounds. Essentially, if they have the power to destroy a city in one blow, it's a nuclear power, right? So city is city level, right? So this is your Daredevil. Spider-Man's kind of at the top of this as far as the city rank, but this is a person who can take out multiple people at the same time. The idea being that they're strong enough where they could probably take down a brick wall, right? Once again, they scale down exponentially, but in an effort not to have a whole bunch of levels, this was sort of how I went with it. And then we have Greg. So Greg is the name of Hela's undead Asgardian. So Greg's my power level. I can hit somebody in the face, and it might hurt. So that's Greg. So for the point of Echo is a city level hero. So Echo is she has the photographic reflexes, and she has the strength essentially of an Olympic athlete, nothing more. So she plays around with the types, and I've said them a few times, with like your Moon Knights, with your Daredevils, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage types. So when people bring up the Heroes for Hire situation, that is the ballpark she plays in, even though she has nothing to do with that team. But, and that once again, I wanted to throw this out there, when she gets the Phoenix Force, her power level rises to universal. So the Phoenix Force can start and end life in a universe, and once again travel between them, but not end them all at one time. So the Phoenix Force is one of the strongest entities in Marvel, but it is not the strongest and isn't the top tier. It's pretty close though. So if we're looking at S to F rank, Phoenix is definitely A+. So Universal, City, that's a little bit on Echo. So anyway, that's the new character coming to Marvel Strike Force. If that's all I have for now, let me know in the comments if there's other things you'd like to know in the future about different characters. If there's things I've missed, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope this has been helpful. Stay cool.